Your brain is about 2% of your body weight, but it burns roughly 20% of your energy every hour, awake or asleep. No other primate can afford an organ that hungry. A gorilla chews raw leaves for 8 hours a day just to stay alive, and it still can't fuel a brain like yours. So how do you run the most expensive organ in the animal kingdom on a fraction of the chewing? The answer is sitting on your stove. Because here's the thing nobody tells you about cooking. You think it's a hobby, a chore, something you do when you've got time and a clean pan. But cooking isn't a habit your species picked up somewhere along the way. It's the reason your species exists at all. Every animal alive eats its food exactly as it finds it, raw, cold, whole. 4 billion years of life on this planet, and not one creature ever learned to change its food with heat before eating it, except one, you. And that single difference might be the entire reason you're smart enough to wonder why. Let's start with the problem your body should never have been able to solve. A brain is astonishingly expensive to run. Gram for gram, brain tissue burns something like 20 times more energy than muscle. And at some point in our past, our brains started growing. Not a little. They roughly tripled in size. That's a spectacular thing to grow. It's also a spectacular bill to pay. Every extra ounce of brain is an ounce that demands feeding. Every hour of every day for the rest of your life. So how does an animal afford it? Normally it can't. Growth like that should have starved us. You cannot bolt a giant, energy-hungry brain onto an ordinary body and expect the whole thing to keep running. Something else has to give. And here's what gave. In 1995, two scientists, Leslie Aiello and Peter Wheeler, looked at the human body and noticed something strange. Our brains are huge for our size, but our guts are small, suspiciously small. Far smaller than they should be for a primate our size. And digestion, it turns out, is almost as expensive as thinking. Your intestines are a second furnace, burning energy around the clock just to break food down. Their idea was simple and a little shocking. We didn't just grow a bigger brain. We shrank the gut to pay for it. We traded stomach for skull. But that creates a new problem. A smaller gut is a weaker gut. It pulls less energy out of hard, raw, fibrous food. So if you're going to shrink the machine that extracts your calories, you'd better find those calories somewhere else, somewhere easier. And that is exactly where the fire comes in. Think about what heat actually does to food. It softens it, it breaks tough fibers apart, it denatures protein, and unravels it into something your body can grab hold of. It bursts open the starch inside a root or a tuber and turns it into fuel you can actually use. Raw, a lot of food is locked. Heat is the key. When you cook something, you are starting the work of digestion outside your body before a single bite goes in your mouth. Fire is an external stomach. Your ancestors didn't just learn to cook. They learned to digest their food before they ate it. And once the fire does that work, your own gut doesn't have to. You can shrink it, and you can spend everything you save on a brain. And this isn't a nice theory with no proof. Feed the same meal raw and cooked, and the cooked version gives up more calories every time. A biologist named Richard Wrangham built an entire argument around this, that cooking, more than tools, more than hunting, is the thing that made us human. His team fed animals raw and cooked versions of identical food. The ones eating cooked got more energy out of it and put on more weight, even though the meal started out exactly the same. Heat was adding calories that raw food kept hidden. And you can watch the same thing happen in people. There are modern humans who eat nothing but raw food on purpose. They have blenders, grocery stores, every advantage your ancestors never had. And still, many of them struggle to keep weight on. In one study, a large share of the women on a strict raw diet stopped menstruating altogether. Their bodies quietly deciding there wasn't enough energy coming in to reproduce, in a world with a fridge and a supermarket. Now imagine trying to run on raw food while also outrunning a lion. Cooking bought us something else too, time. A gorilla spends most of its waking life just chewing, 6 hours, sometimes more, jaws grinding through raw leaves and stems that give almost nothing back. Chimps aren't far behind. That's the tax on a raw diet. Your food fights you, and you pay for every calorie with your teeth. Cooked food doesn't fight back. It's soft. It's fast. Humans spend a tiny fraction of the day chewing compared to any other great ape. And all those hours that didn't get spent grinding leaves went somewhere. Into making tools, into hunting, into talking, into all the things a brain that size was suddenly free to do. And our bodies changed to match. Our teeth got smaller. Our jaws got lighter. The heavy chewing muscles that anchor an ape's skull relaxed and receded. We were quietly becoming an animal that no longer had to fight its own food. So when did all this start? That's where it gets genuinely hard, because fire doesn't fossilize. The tricky part was never proving that we cook. It's proving when we began. There's burned bone and ash deep inside Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, dating back around a million years. Fire, used on purpose, inside a home. In Israel, beside an ancient lakeshore, there are traces of controlled fire that may reach back nearly 800,000 years. And Wrangham argues it runs deeper still, that the changes in our ancestors' bodies, the smaller teeth, the shrinking gut, were already underway well over a million years ago, which would mean cooking is older than our own species, older than us. A gift we inherited from an ancestor who wasn't quite human yet. And the fire did more than feed us. Heat kills what hides in food, the parasites, the bacteria, the things in raw meat that can quietly kill you. Cooking made the world's food safer, almost overnight. But maybe the biggest change wasn't in the body at all. Think about what a cooking fire really is. It's a fixed place. You can't cook on the move. So for the first time, a group of humans had a reason to stop, to gather in one spot, to wait together while their food slowly changed in the heat. The hearth became a center of gravity, a place you came back to, a place where food got shared out, where the group sat in one circle night after night, all of them waiting on the same fire. It's hard to prove, and it's hard to ignore. The kitchen may be the oldest social room we have. We didn't just start cooking food around that fire. We started becoming the kind of animal that spends its whole life around one. So here's the full picture. Cooking was never a lifestyle. It was a trade. We handed part of our digestion to the fire, and the fire handed us back a surplus. More calories, more free time, softer food, a safer meal. And we spent that surplus on the single most expensive thing an animal can build, a brain 3 sizes too big for a body like ours. The gut shrank, the teeth shrank, the jaw relaxed, and the mind, fed at last, exploded. Cooking didn't just feed us, it built us. Nearly everything you think of as human, the big brain, the small flat face, the endless free hours to think and talk and invent, traces back to the moment something learned to hold its food over a flame. And now look at you. You stand in a bright kitchen and turn a dial, and heat appears with no fire, no smoke, no danger at all. You wait a few minutes for something to cook, and you feel it. That little flicker of impatience, that quiet sense that this is taking too long. You call it dinner, a chore wedged between the day and the couch. You have never once looked at the pan on your stove as the reason your skull is shaped the way it is, or the reason your gut is small enough to leave room for the brain that's reading this thought right now. You don't cook to survive anymore. You cook because it's Tuesday. But every single time you do, you're repeating the oldest trick our species ever pulled. The one that took a hungry, ordinary ape and slowly, over a million years of firelight, turned it into something that could stare into a flame and ask why. So next time you're standing over the stove, a little impatient, remember what you're actually doing. And if this changed the way you look at that pan, tell me down in the comments.